Hi, my name is Jack Lamorelia, and I'm the CEO of KLAW Industries, and we turn glass bottles into concrete. Now, in order to understand how we do this, we first need to understand two very different industries and their systemic problems. Let's start with the recycling industry. When you place a glass bottle in the recycling bin, you expect it to actually be recycled. However, this often isn't the case. While glass bottles go to the recycling facility like everything else, when the cardboard, paper, plastic, and metal are separated from one another, the glass is broken up and mixed with small pieces of the other materials, such as shredded paper, plastic bottle caps, and metal can lids, making it unusable to make new glass bottles or anything else. So, recycling facilities are forced to send this waste product to the landfill at a loss. Here's a picture of this waste glass so you get a better understanding of what it looks like. And as you can tell, it's about 80% glass by mass, but the other 20% contamination makes it unusable. So recycling facilities are forced to send it to the landfill at a loss of over $200,000 for a typical facility per year. Now I want to totally switch subjects and talk about the concrete industry. To make concrete, you need coarse aggregate, think gravel, fine aggregate, think sand, and cement and water, which form a glue that holds the aggregates together. Now, this is the concrete we all know and love, but there's much more to it than that. Cement is 15% of concrete by weight, but it's 75% of concrete by cost, making it by far the highest material cost for concrete manufacturers and something they're constantly trying to get down. The main way concrete manufacturers lower their cement costs is with a thing called cement replacement, which partially replaces the cement in the concrete, meaning less cement is needed per yard of concrete. The main cement replacements are fly ash from coal power plants and slag from steel foundries. And these have been working great for decades. However, in recent years, there's becoming supply problems and quality issues with this material. The reason for this is the United States is moving away from coal power plants and towards more energy efficient power production, such as solar panels and natural gas power plants, meaning that fly ash is becoming rarer. And slag has been going away for years because steel foundries have been moving overseas due to lower cost. This is not only bad for concrete manufacturers because their cement costs are continuing to increase since they're now using 100% cement mixtures. It's also bad for the environment because for every additional ton of cement being produced, a ton of CO2 is released into the atmosphere. So it's obviously very bad for the environment. So what do we do about these two major issues? What we do at KLAW Industries is we're paid by recycling facilities to take this waste glass. We put it through our patent pending process. We make Pantheon, a partial replacement for cement like fly ash or slag. For recycling facilities, the benefits are that we are able to lower their disposal costs, and we're able to guarantee to them that their glass is actually recycled, which is important to them altruistically as well as for grant funding, because the more material they can recycle, the more money they're able to get from the government to continue running their facility. For concrete manufacturers, Pantheon lowers their costs because it's lower priced than fly ash, slag, or cement, and is more environmentally sustainable. But most importantly, to concrete manufacturers, Pantheon makes their concrete 11% stronger and 50% more chemically resistant than typical concrete, meaning they're able to offer their customers an all-around better product at a lower cost. So the opportunity for this combined market of taking waste glass and selling Pantheon is a $1.3 billion market. And this is only going to increase in coming years as United States municipal waste tipping fees and cement prices continue to climb. So this means over the next several years, that both sides of our business are going to become more profitable as the competitors are becoming more expensive. So who are we? You already met me. My name is Jack Lamorelia. I'm the CEO of KLAW Industries. There's also Tanner Wallace, the CTO, and Jacob Kumpan, the COO, as well as our board of advisors. Not only are we the inventors of this, not only are we the executive directors and managers of this company, we're also the inventors of this technology, meaning that there's no one better to scale it across the country and bring it to the customers who we've already spent years better understanding so we can fit their needs to the best possible, to our best possible ability. The first question we always get when we talk about what we do for a business is how'd you guys get in to this business. Most people don't know about the glass recycling issue, and even less people know about the cement replacement issue. And when we started, we didn't know either. We were just interested in the recycling industry and the problems it has. So we asked local recycling facilities to show us around and just tell us about their problems. And we saw all the things you'd expect to see at a local recycling facility. We saw the waste plastic that will go to the landfill and the paper that can't be reused into new printer paper. However, at the back of all these facilities was something most people don't talk about. There's a dumpster full of glass that, when full, is sent directly to the landfill. When we asked recycling facility owners what this glass was, they said, that's all the glass you place in the recycling bin. There's just nothing we can do with it, but we want to collect it because we need all the other materials as well. So we're just forced to send it to the landfill and eat the cost of doing so. We thought this was a real shame. So when we came back, we came up with every possible use for glass we could think of and eventually landed on using it in concrete because it also solved this issue in the concrete industry. We then went out to concrete manufacturers and made sure this was a problem for them and tried to get a better understanding of the issue. And once we felt we knew both markets very well, we set out and made a process and material that fit both their problems. From there, we validated our process with 3 recycling facilities, showing that we are able to process any type of waste glass from a recycling facility and turn it into Pantheon. And then we brought that Pantheon to concrete manufacturers who tested it in their different processes, verifying that Pantheon can be universally used in any concrete manufacturing process. The companies with stars next to them have actually signed letters of intent with us, saying as soon as we're able to open a facility to process glass, they would like to buy from us. And these companies will help us scale across the United States, enabling us to get as much market share as possible before other competitors are entering the market. We've also received a letter of support from CNS Companies, a national engineering firm that works very heavily with concrete, as well as received a letter of support from the New York State Department of Transportation, which is the regulating body that will determine whether or not our material can be used in government contracts. So far we've done customer field tests with our customers, and those have come out positively. We've also filed a provisional patent application with the US government, as well as several other governments across the world. And we've also received ASTM C1866 certification, which is the industry standard certification for this type of material. Next, in April, we plan to submit for New York State DOT certification, and then we will begin securing funding to work on this full time, because in June of 2021, we plan to open our pilot plant, and then a year after that, we're planning to scale that plant to a full-scale facility. This full-scale facility, when it reaches its full capacity, will process over 130 metric tons of glass a year, 130,000 metric tons of glass a year, and will generate over $16 million a year in revenue. That will result in over $2.7 million in profit for our investors, meaning that they'll see a return on their investment pretty quickly. But we're not just interested in making money for our investors or ourselves, although obviously that needs to happen in order to be as sustainable as possible. Pantheon, when it reaches full scale in the United States, will save 7.6 million metric tons of glass from entering the landfill. That's more than twice as much waste than the city of Bangkok produces in a year. Additionally, Pantheon will save 7.3 million metric tons of CO2 from being released into the atmosphere. That's equivalent to taking 1.6 million cars off the road, because we're replacing cement that is heavily carbon intensive. Thank you. Do you have any questions?